You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touché and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
We are back with another episode of Go Time Dolphins, a highly anticipated episode. If you saw the last episode, I said episode quite a few times now. So the last show, we done the best of Charlie Touché's 24, where he looks at up and coming draft prospects in the NFL draft. And this episode, if you're new and joining in, is all about the 2023 NFL draft and Touché's 24. Before I introduce Charlie Touché, if you notice, we have 2 live episodes on Friday. The first is at 11 p.m. UK time. Charlie will give you the Eastern time. I'm really bad at that. I want to say it's like 7 p.m., but I could be wrong.
6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Eastern. That is a Go Time Dolphins full mock draft, just the two of us picking for the Dolphins, seeing what we can do. Join us in that live, be a part of our war room. Like I said, let's try and stop Charlie from drafting a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round, which Sherrod Steve agrees with me. We'll get into that later.
Hey, Sherrod Steve hit me up too, bro. He hit you up?
He hit me up, man.
Good. It's a good thing we ain't got no group chat, but we might have to start there.
And then at 1 p.m. Eastern, live on Friday, a 32 GM full 7-round mock draft with trades that is over at the Cover One Network using the mock draft. We are the GM, the head coach, the scouting staff of our Miami Dolphins. So that'll be a great one. We'll be streaming live over here on Go Time Dolphins YouTube channel, but the mock will be taking place elsewhere. So come and join us for that. But Charlie, how are you?
I think you misspoke, but it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touché. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Autism Awareness Month, all month, April. Shout out to former Miami Dolphin William Hayes coming back to the show. Y'all check out myqscorner.com and support former Miami Dolphins defensive end William Hayes and join us in Autism Awareness Month. But I'm good, Kadeem, bro. Listen, bro. You said you did something just now, like something about a CV. What is a CV, bro?
Before we get into that, you said I misspoke. How and where?
Yeah. I'm glad. So you misspoke. You said 1 p.m. Eastern. Did you mean 1 a.m. UK
yes,
time?
You are right. 1 a.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Yeah. So apologies for that.
So So we're going live of a live mock draft here on Go Time Dolphins on the Go Time Dolphins platform this Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. If you've seen the last live, we might give away some stuff, like just an unannounced giveaway might just happen. Tune into the live, and then after that, a couple hours after that, we're gonna have another mock draft on a different platform. So yeah, but Kadeem, what is a CV, bro?
So, peek behind the curtain. I said to Charlie that I was applying for jobs. I sent someone my CV and they got back to me. And Charlie said, "What is a CV?" The best way I can describe a CV is you're applying for a job and you give them a piece of paper with like your qualifications, your work experience, and that's called a CV. Now, I thought that was like universal, a curriculum vitae or something like that. If you're applying for jobs, what do you give potential employees?
I ain't gonna lie. Employers, you mean?
Employers, sorry, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I wish it was live right now because then everyone in the chat could just say it for me. But while I give you this answer, can you pull up the best of Touché? Best of Touché 24. This is the one that we had on the last episode. So what we call that, Kadeem, is a resume.
Yes, a resume.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for everyone, if this is your first time checking us out on Go Time Dolphins, Kadeem Simmons is born and raised in London. He's in London. He lives in London. I am in the wonderful Sunshine State. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Born and raised Miami Dolphin fan. And we met in London at a Dolphins game. Well, actually, we didn't meet at the game. We met the day before the game. And then next thing you know, got to rapping, and that's how it happened. But yeah, man, we call it a resume. Kadeem said, "Oh yeah, I gave him my CV." I'm like, "But what? What is a CV?" And he looked at me like I was crazy, like he was talking another language. Listen, man, y'all speak a different kind of English over there.
So before I pull that up, we now have to ask a question: why is it called a CV and why is it called a resume? I feel like that question has to be answered. So, curriculum vitae (CV) is Latin for course of life. In contrast, resume is French for summary. So, yeah, not really like a fun one, but yeah, CV, resume. Again, we learn something new every single day. But let's get to the previous Touché 24. And for those who haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go back and watch our previous episode on where we broke down a number of players on this list.
So again, if you're new to Go Time Dolphins, we appreciate you. Share, like, and subscribe. Please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. This list is Touché's 24. And what it is I picked 24 underrated players or under the radar prospects coming out from college to the NFL draft before the draft happens. So I don't wait for the draft. I pick them before the draft. And I say, hey, listen, everyone tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these boys are going to be nice when they hit the NFL. And people will say, oh, you didn't know that. And then we could pull up receipts. Shout out to JML. He likes the receipts. So we pull up the receipts. And from the previous 3 years, here are a couple players that I hit on. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Javon Holland, Rondale Moore, George Pickens, Asante Samuel Jr., just to name a few. And today's episode, we have a brand new list, Touché's 24, 2023 list. And I'm gonna just tell you like this: I rewatched last episode, the last year's episode, 2022's list, and in the episode, I'm like, yo, this might be the best list I've ever put together, Kadeem. Subsequently, a year later, I'm like, yo, this might be my my lackluster list I've ever put together 1 year later, but it's only because there's only so many positions that are so deep, right? And I'm sure everyone has heard by now that tight end is deep, guard is deep, offensive guard and corner is deep. You know what I'm saying? There's not too many receivers this year. We had a couple spectacular classes with receiver in the past couple years. But just a pointer, again, I do this with 7, 8, 9 minutes of YouTube film, bro. From the couch, I watch these players and I'm like, yo, this is a dude. He's going to be somebody one day. And if you just seen that list, you seen how many times I hit, and I only picked 24. It doesn't mean these are the best 24 coming out in the draft, but it does mean like, yo, this person needs to get some recognition. And I just don't understand how scouts, GMs, personnel have every single snap from every single game they've ever played back to high school and still miss on some of these picks. But maybe one day I could get in a building somewhere and show them how it's done and start hitting on some of these gems. So without further ado, Kadeem, can you pull up the list? Drum roll, please. Touché's 24 of 2023. Let's see what we got. That's a pretty good list, man. Hey, listen, Kadeem, episodes like this are pretty fun, bro. Because it's like no one really knows. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, Slick. You know what I'm saying? They could question all they want. But when you have the receipts to back it up, it's like, well, let's see what he has this time. So for anyone who isn't like a draft head, maybe you could take this list, when you watch the Dolphins draft or whoever your team is, shout out to people who watch this podcast and the team is not even the Dolphins. We rock with y'all too. You'll have some type of baseline and some type of reference to go into the draft with and follow these players and see where they go. But yeah, Kadeem, man, this took me some time, and I'm pretty proud of this list. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I can't even sit here and say that I know all of these players. I know a few because we've had guys like Charlie Wilson, Owain Jones, and Ollie Hodgkinson, join the show in recent weeks and kind of speak about some of these players. You've mentioned a few, and kind of given a few spoilers and stuff like that. So I'm very interested to see and hear about these players. Again, last year I remember hearing about a few, seeing some of their highlights, and thinking, okay, yeah, I can see why they would make, your list of 24. Do you mind if I pick the first person to talk about?
I wasn't ready for that, but what you got? Let's see how nice I am.
It had to be number 24, Kadeem Telford. Like, dude, you can't put a Kadeem on this list and not spend extensive time talking about, it has to be done. So I've already said it, I'm saying it now. The Dolphins have to draft this guy. 100% have to. And I'm getting his jersey. But I'm going to get Kadeem. Not like his last name, just going to get Kadeem. We share a first name. I think that beats the Kadeem curse because, hey, I'm just getting my name. It happens to be someone who played for the Dolphins. I really want us to draft Khalid Kareem because his name sounds like Kadeem. So the first person I would like you to tell me about is Kadeem Telford.
So for everyone listening to the audio version, we just had the Touché's 24 of 2023 list up on YouTube. Share, like, and subscribe when you get a chance on YouTube. And there is a player, number 24. They're not ranked in order. But this year, I can kind of make the argument that this was Touché's 22 this year. Right? And I'll tell you why before I get into Kadeem Telford. Typically, I pick 24 prospects. I'm like, yo, these are the 24 I'm riding with. Number 9 on this list was Mohamed Ibrahim. Spelled Ibrahim. The common pronunciation is Ibrahim, but he pronounces it Ibrahim. Running back from Minnesota. And Mohamed Ibrahim was like a 6-year senior. Got hurt the last 2 seasons. And I wanted this dude to come out like 3 years ago. And he got hurt every time he went back. And he made this list because I was in love with this dude. He's a running back, 5'9", 210. And he was supposed to be on every list before this list, but he never came out. So he's on this list. But I think, unfortunately, now he's like 25 years old. He has a lot of injuries. I don't know that he finds a role in the NFL. And secondly, Kadeem Telford. Now, before I tell you about Kadeem Telford, So Kadeem found someone on this list for the first time named Kadeem, right? And for someone who doesn't like his name, like you really resonated with this player, or this player really resonates with you. So Kadeem Telford is a tackle that went to UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, 6'8", 330. Dude is massive. Unfortunately, from what I understand, and this list is always just talent-wise. Just talent. Look at the tape. I don't go into character issues or character issues going to bring this person off the list or down the list or back around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not privy to that type of information, so I just assess the tape. Kadeem Telford is a Power 5 tackle that ended up at UAB because of reportedly character issues. Don't know what character issues there may have been or what happened or didn't happen or allegedly happened, but he ended up at UAB because of character issues. And dude plays football. I don't know if Kadeem Telford translates into a NFL tackle playing with the level of competition that he had in college, but I do know, and then and then with that being said, if an organization will put up with whatever the rumor is on Kadeem Telford, but something we say in football, Kadeem, you cannot coach size, and he has all of it. And when you look at the tape, he's a football player. Who else you got for us?
I'm disappointed that my namesake is out there messing about. Like, dude, let's not do this.
Hey, now I'm be real with you though. Like, because he will fall in the draft. He will 100% fall. Kadeem Telford is not someone who's going to go in like a 4th or 5th round. He might go undrafted, might have to prove himself to get on a team, and then be one of those, man, this dude went undrafted and made his way to a contract. And that's who Kadeem Telford is. He's not someone that's, high up like a 4th round pick that turns into a 42 game starter, 42 games played, 42 game starter type of player. But he has the skill set. He really does. It's just that we don't know what if his character is just gonna get him removed from these teams' boards. But you know what? I'll pick the next one. And there's a couple firsts on this list. 2 firsts, actually.
Can I guess what it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are the 2 first? You got 2 quarterbacks on the list.
That is one of the firsts, Kadeem. I have 2 quarterbacks on this list. This is the first time Charlie Touché has ever put 2 quarterbacks on a list. I tend to stay away from quarterbacks because it's the hardest position to get a feel for from 7 minutes of YouTube. And I don't want to, like, you know what? I do want to participate. It's not like making a big board. When you make a big board, everyone knows what a big board is. And if you don't, a big board is when you compile a list of all the positions coming out in the draft and you put them in order. Like I rank the positions and the players by position first. Yeah. So that being said, that takes way more time than picking 24 underrated players or underappreciated players. So I don't got time like that. A lot of jujitsu going on. I started my own business, and that might be why this list may be lackluster. But no excuses, right? There is a quarterback from Stanford named Tanner McKee. And Tanner McKee is the traditional pocket passer. He's not mobile. He's not gonna get out the pocket and cause a problem. He's gonna stay in the pocket, a la Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the traditional pocket passer. Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? Alliteration got me. So that's Tanner McKee. The reason Tanner McKee made this list, bro, I was watching someone else's film, and I'm like, yo, who's this ripping the ball like this? You feel me? And Tanner McKee just caught me, bro. I'm like, the NFL is moving towards, quarterbacks have to be able to play off script and elude tackles and all this other good stuff. And Tanner McKee can't do that, but he throws the ball so well, bro, that someone's going to fall in love with the traditional pocket passer in the NFL, and someone's going to take a chance on Tanner McKee. I don't know that I would, because I like the mobile quarterback that can get out the pocket and cause problems for defenses, but he had to make this list. I'm like, I'm going to hit on the quarterback. One of these lists, I'm going to get me a quarterback, and someone's going to say, oh, you didn't know who that was, i.e. Davis Mills. I have a couple, I don't want to call them regrets, but there's some things that really, like, how you might have a miss. Like, I might put a player on the list and he misses. Like, dang, bro, you let me down. Worse than that, Kadeem, is not having a player on the list, and then a year or two go by and like, yo, I think I put him on my list, and then you didn't put him on the list. That's worse, bro, because you knew he could have performed and you didn't put him on the list. And Davis Mills, I almost took a chance with Davis Mills. Obviously, Davis Mills isn't a home record like that, but to say I knew Davis Mills and have him on the list and have a receipt for that would have been really good. But I didn't put Davis Mills on the list. funny thing is, Davis Mills went to Stanford, and Tanner McKee also went to Stanford. So hopefully I don't get burnt this time. But Tanner McKee makes the list, and we're going to talk about the other quarterback later. And the other first, I said there's two first, right, Kadeem?
Let me see if I can guess the other first quickly. I'm gonna get this wrong, but is your other first that you got a defensive tackle on this list?
Nah, that's not the other first. But to be fair, you couldn't tell what the other first was because it's nothing that you can actually see. Andrew Voorhees is a guard from USC. Shout out to Lon Ray. Put together this graphic and had the top 3 players, their pictures on the graphic. Super dope graphic. We appreciate Lon Ray. Andrew Voorhees is what is it highlighted on the graphic? Andrew Voorhees tore his ACL in the combine and workouts for the combine. This is the first time I put someone on a list that's injured. So you couldn't really tell that from the list. So I'm going to give that to you. Andrew Voorhees is a starter. He starts guard, 6'6", USC, 325. The man is so good, Kadeem, that he's going to fall in the draft. He's not going to play this season. And next season, he's going to put his name on the map. And when he does, he will already be on Touché's 24. Andrew Voorhees could be a pick that the Dolphins find falling down the draft board. And again, this Touché's 24 isn't 24 players that I want the Dolphins to get, because some of these boys don't match what the Dolphins do. These are just dope players, dope athletes, good at what they do, and they may not necessarily align with what the Dolphins have planned. What you got for us, Kadeem?
One of the names on the list. So sleepers, not so much unheard, but like under radar guys. I feel like it's something which, with each passing year, it's harder to do, if that makes sense. Because the way people and websites and organizations, like, NFL Network, all that kind of stuff, the way they cover the draft is becoming more and more extensive. So it's like, I'm not saying people aren't under the radar anymore, but I kind of feel like the term under the radar is kind of overused. So honestly, outside of guys who you've mentioned previously, or Charlie Wilson, most of these guys I haven't really heard of. Number 18, Jonathan Mingo, is a guy that I've heard of. Like, he's had a lot of buzz in, my NFL groups. And my NFL groups are made of people in the UK. So it's not like the people in the US. So how under the radar is Jonathan Mingo? And what's he like as a prospect?
Bro, I'm so glad you said all of that. Because ideally, if you know a prospect, and this is not to say you don't know football, but I know college football, and college football prospects isn't your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's not a lot of things. If you're the average football fan, it's not, you probably don't follow college football. Like, above average fanatics probably delve into college players and what school they went to. Shout out to Bert. He knows the high schools some of these people went to. I don't know how he does that. You know what I'm saying? With a full-time job working 72 hours a week, Bert is a machine. So, but yeah, the average person probably wouldn't know who Jonathan Mingo is. And that's what I try to do is, look, Kadeem probably ain't going to know 90% of this list. But because you know who Jonathan Mingo is, it lets me know that, all right, he is on some people's radar. Jonathan Mingo is 6'2", 225. Wide receiver from Ole Miss. If I had to give him a comp, and I want to be fair, and I don't want to undersell this man. He's like between DK Metcalf and Trent Sherfield. Solid sculptured looking dude, tall. if I'm a DB, I don't want to get blocked by this dude if I see him coming downhill. But he doesn't have the explosion that DK Metcalf has. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I think some people thought he would be like a 4th round, 5th round pick. And I seen one person this whole offseason mock him at the end of the 1st round. And this is the thing about offseason and draft prospects. You can put them wherever you feel like they're supposed to go. I had a 2nd round grade, 3rd round grade on Trey Smith, and the Chiefs drafted him in the 6th round, and he started every single game, 46 games. He's been in the league. So that's the beauty of this whole thing. Jonathan Mingo, for my dollar, he should not go anything further than the 3rd round. Like, people are sleeping on Jonathan Mingo. That's why he's on my list, because I feel like people are sleeping on him. So if he goes to the 3rd round or 4th round or 5th round, it's like, yo, there's a gold mine out there in Jonathan Mingo. Tall dude, big dude, got hands, can separate. This is what you want in a receiver.
So Lance Zierlein over at NFL.com, his NFL comparison is Anquan Boldin.
That's high praise. That's really high praise. Anquan Boldin is. I don't think Anquan Boldin's a Hall of Famer. I don't think so. But Anquan Boldin in the state of Florida is a legend. You know what I'm saying? He went to Florida State. He blocks. He didn't drop balls. Took the tough hits. Went across the middle all the time. That's super high praise. Whoever said that who was a reporter or a person who said that?
Lance Zierlein.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from. But for somebody to be from Florida, we just don't give out Anquan Boldin praises like that. So I would stick with my DK Metcalf, between DK Metcalf and Trent Sherfield. Not the quality of player, like not saying he's a 4th receiver on a roster and all he's gonna do is block, but just the type of player he is. So honestly, I could see a world where he would end up on the Dolphins for sure.
Very, very quickly before we move on to the next person, the Draft Network has his consensus grade as the 5th round. They believe he has 5th round value. That is the Draft Network.
I will go on the record and say I would bet a lot that Jonathan Mingo does not make it to the 5th round. I would bet a lot that he does not. And y'all know I'm a better man. Easy money, right? Easy money, bet of the draft. Jonathan Mingo doesn't make it to the 5th round. So that would be my easy money bet of the draft. Jonathan Mingo not making it to the 5th round. I really like dude Kadeem, and I feel like, and it's a Dolphins podcast, and you just added Chosen Anderson. You have Craycraft 400. You have Braxton Berrios, and I think we're gonna address 6 receivers this year. So when you got Waddle, go ahead.
No. Keep going. I'll say after.
So you got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, and then honestly, you're probably gonna have Craycraft 400. And people don't understand, well, why Craycraft would be the 3rd receiver, because that's the type of scheme that we run. He's going to be blocking and all this other stuff. He's good enough to get more snaps than Braxton Berrios, as opposed to the traditional slot receiver like Braxton Berrios. If we had an offense that had a traditional slot receiver, remember when Waddle was a slot receiver, got over 150 receptions? That's not the scheme we run anymore. And I had the question like, I wonder what McDaniel has drawn up. Is he going to have an offense more like that, where Chosen Anderson is on the field more with Waddle, Hill, and Chosen Anderson? Because that's hard to defend. That's too much speed to defend. You're always going to have someone open with that. Or you're going to have a traditional offense with Braxton Berrios more playing the Cooper Kupp role as a slot receiver, or the Wes Welker or Julian Edelman role. Or you're going to do what we did last year, where Trent Sherfield and Craycraft were blocking, but there's 2 receivers on the outside. So I don't know what Coach McDaniel has drafted up, but Jonathan Mingo is an X receiver. That means he's a 1. He's going to stay on the outside. He's not going to be playing in the slot like that. And that's why I would want him. You had a question.
So my whole thing was, you said they're going to dress 6 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Hill and Waddle. Like, they
Lock
were
it in.
given. Then you got Craycraft and I guess Barrios because
Yep.
your kick returner and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 off the bat.
Yep.
Then you got Chosen Anderson 5 if he makes the roster. You
Mm-hmm.
got a 1-year deal. Where does that leave Easy Eric Ezukanma?
He would be number 6.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, we don't know the progress Eric Ezukanma has made or hasn't made yet. And there's a rule in football, especially in the front office. Don't let a good player prevent you from drafting a great player. So if Eric Ezukanma is slated to be the fifth or sixth receiver on the roster, and Jonathan Mingo slides and Charlie Touché loses a bet, and Jonathan Mingo slides into the 5th round, like you got to do what you got to do. My thing is, Kadeem, Coach McDaniel is on the record saying how much he loved Devin Hester and how much Devin Hester playing special teams took them to the Super Bowl, the Bears to the Super Bowl. And we didn't have that last year. We is Waddle going to be punt returner, kick returner? Is Hill going to return punts? And I know we had 2 years of our conversations like that, and we didn't get that. So I believe Coach McDaniel really wants a special teams returner. He wants a receiver, running back there that is a specialist. And I think that's why we got Braxton Berrios. So this is why I still believe we're going to go 6. We're going to dress 6 receivers, because you dress 6 receivers, you probably going to play 3 running backs still. And you got the 4th running back in Alec Ingold. Traditionally, you have 4 running backs, but we never did 4 running backs last year. So that's what I think is going on now. So when you add a receiver, if you draft a receiver this year, Braxton Berrios, Chosen Anderson, and Eric Ezukanma are in the bubble. It is what it is. You don't let them boys prevent you from taking somebody that's dope. But Kadeem, how about this? Why are you pulling up the list? There are 3 Lukes on this list. Luke Musgrave, tight end. Luke Schoonmaker, tight end. And Luke Whippler, center from Ohio State. Never had 3 of one name on the list before either. I guess that's a first 2. I think we're more familiar with Luke Musgrave. I am not as high on, well, let me not say that because he's on my list. Luke Musgrave is dope. But for the Dolphins, I would not want Luke Musgrave. I would want Luke Schoonmaker for the Dolphins. Luke Schoonmaker, 6'6", 250, Michigan. You know how yards after the catch was an issue for tight end for us? With Luke Schoonmaker, that would not be an issue, yards after the catch. So everyone wondered, oh, what's the tight end room going to look like when McDaniel comes, and he probably wants his own tight end, and he just left Kittle, so he wants a Kittle lookalike. There's no Kittle lookalikes out there. I just want to, y'all need to understand there's no 2 Kittles out there where you just go make this dude into a Kittle. But Luke Schoonmaker, he will have yards after the catch. He's tough to defend. If you're a smaller DB, like, he's going to get off. He's going to get his. But that's not even the desired tight end that I want, Kadeem. The desired tight end that I want is on this list, and I think he's probably I don't want to say the best tight end in the draft. I'm not going to say that. But he's the best tight end on this list. And that's Britton Strange from Penn State, 6'4", 250, and he's going to be Mike Gesicki's replacement. How wild would it be that we went and got a tight end from Penn State after we just lost a tight end from Penn State?
When you said the name, the first thing that came to my mind, because I'm a Marvel nerd, is Doctor Strange. So anyone who can mock a Doctor Strange graphic, send it my way. That'd be amazing.
Hold on, Kadeem. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Dolphins did the Dolphins visit Penn State? And I think you sent like a text to me, or this was on Twitter. There was like the Dolphins were looking at one player, and then another player was chopping it up with Coach McDaniel, and that dude said, he was like, Oh, McDaniel's hilarious. He's like, I would love to play for him. He's like my kind of coach. Can't remember what player it was. Can't remember what school it was, but I thought it felt like Penn State.
Charlie, you know you're my
Yeah.
boy. You know I've always got you. So let's do this live. Let's go through this. Shout out to Finn Fanatics. Once my perfect right. Charlie, what does this headline say?
Miami Dolphins showing interest in Penn State Brenton Strange.
So
Penn
this
State
is from,
today, the school's pro day was held, and the Miami Dolphins were represented well, perhaps, to see Brenton Strange. And then there's a
look at this
picture.
photo.
Yeah.
For those so for those who are listening on audio, it's a Twitter account by the name of @PennStateT, Donnie Collins, and it's Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel having a long conversation with Brenton Strange. And Mike McDaniel's looking at him like, yo, you're my guy.
And that's Chris Greer right there.
Yep, Chris Greer's there as well. Who's the guy in between the two?
I don't know, bro. And bro, this is bad that we're on to stuff like this. So that's Coach McDaniel. Chris Greer barely makes this picture, and there's someone sitting in between them, and they're all sitting down, and Brenton Strange is standing up in front of them. Oh, here it says something about being funny. It has been reported on Twitter some of the Penn State players have been having some fun with Coach McDaniel, with some saying he's funny, and others pointing out that his presence has been noted around the area. So I guess this is not the tweet that I was talking about, but it was Penn State, obviously, that I was talking about. I wasn't sure if it was Penn State or not.
Frank Clark. Sorry, I think the guy in the middle was Frank Clark.
Oh, offensive coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's most likely. Yeah, that's got to be him. So, bro, and I'm gonna go on record again. So what I say, Jonathan Mingo won't make it to the 5th round.
Yeah.
There was a year, Kadeem, where pre-podcast, Isaac Asiata was a lineman for Utah, and I told LB, yo, the Dolphins are gonna draft Isaac Asiata in the 5th round. He's that type of swing guard, swing tackle that the Dolphins use, very athletic. The Dolphins drafted him in the 5th round, Isaac Asiata. And LB was like, bro, there's no receipt of none of this. You know what I'm saying? And now we have a podcast. So now I can make claims like that. And I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to go on record and say the tight end that the Dolphins are going to draft is going to be Brenton Strange. Like, I have zero doubts. It's just, we just have to see if he's available.
So then that's my question to you. The Dolphins have four picks. Round 2, pick 51, round 4, pick is 85, and then 1 to 6 and 1 to 7th. When do you take him? And it's like, so to quickly break down the tight ends, you've got Darnell Washington, Sam Laporta, Luke Musgrave, is it Dalton Kincaid?
Yep.
That's 4 who you would assume go before Brenton Strange.
For sure.
But do 4 tight ends go before? And it's quite a deep tight end class. Do 4 tight ends go before 51 to the point where the Dolphins have to take Brenton Strange in the 2nd round? Or do you think they can hold on to the 4th round? You have to move up. Where do you think? So it's a 2-part question. Where do you think the Dolphins get itchy to grab him, or will he just be there in the 4th when they go to pick?
Before I seen that tweet, so this is giving me more. It's like more evidence. Before I seen that tweet and seen the brass talking to him, there was something telling me yesterday. This is just yesterday. There was something telling me that when Mike McDaniel wanted to trade up for that running back that went to San Fran in last year's draft, he literally fell out of his chair, is what Chris Greer said. He fell on the floor, fell out of his chair that he didn't get his running back. Something tells me that Chris Greer would let him trade up to get his tight end this year. I feel like he'll have more power to do so if he so choose. Brenton Strange is a yak machine too. So we might not have that yak offense like for a quarterback that just yaks it up, but he has the structure, the body structure, the skill set to be yards after catch, all kind of yards after catch. Now my thing is, maybe you manufacture some picks and you trade back that second round, the 52, which is it's technically 51, but we're calling it 50 something. 51, 52, because we don't have a pick in the first round. And we said we're going to mention this on every episode, but how nice would it be to have a first round pick if you're the Miami Dolphins and you could be in the conversation of Bijan Robinson, Joey Porter Jr., just throw Zay Flowers in there just because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can be in the conversation of a lot of good players at 21. That's all I'm saying. But we have the 51st pick of the draft. And if your dude isn't sitting there, if Jahmyr Gibbs is not sitting there waiting for you, you can move back and probably get a extra pick, which would be like a 4th round pick. So I don't know, bro. Like, I don't have to make this decision. I don't know how important it is to have Brenton Strange on your team if you're Coach McDaniel. I really did think Strange was the guy that the Dolphins would target because of where we do pick. Who's that tight end you like? Big dude from Georgia?
Darnell Washington.
Listen, there's 2 people that you don't see on this list. Well, there's one person you don't see on this list. Darnell Washington is not a low profile player. He doesn't qualify for this list, right? But I'm afraid of Darnell Washington, bro, because I think he's like a pack of jelly beans away from being a tackle, bro. Like, like yo, bro, you too big, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm too afraid to use a premium pick on a player that can eat himself out of his position. And it's unfair to say, oh, he would do that. But I have to make this decision. And bro, you're already up there. So Darnell Washington is a tight end, could be the 1st or 2nd tight end pick in this draft. Is not expected to be waiting for us in the 2nd round. But even if he was, bro, I would be petrified that we don't turn Darnell Washington into a tackle somehow. So I'm concerned about Darnell Washington. I wouldn't go there. But there was one more person that, now that I said it, you probably see he's not on this list, which is right tackle from Ohio State, DeJuan Jones. He scared me too, bro. Like, the man is 365 pounds or 75 pounds. He's almost 400 pounds, bro. Like, he was listed at 265, and I think he came to the combine at 365, and he came to the combine at 374. I can't do it, bro. Like, we can't be missing on these picks. We can't be trading up for Hunter Longs and trading up for Liam Eichenbergs, and then they not work. So I can't trust DeJuan Jones. I didn't even trust him enough to put him on my Touché 24. So therefore, I can't trust him for the Dolphins to pick him. If they do, I'm not going to be upset. I hope they hit. But at the same time, like, it really does scare me, bro.
I get that. We'll go through a few more. Need to do Chase 24. We said it a few times. We'll say it again. If you're still here, which obviously, why wouldn't you be? Give us a like. Drop a comment, because that you don't understand how much that helps us. It shows YouTube that, hey, not only are these guys worth watching, but the watchers interact with their show, which means YouTube are going to promote us to other people who might not be fans or know Go Time Dolphins exist. We want to get as big as possible. We can't do it without your help. So share, like, subscribe, drop a comment. We always respond to comments. We always give people shout outs where possible. So we would really appreciate that.
I got. Go ahead.
No, all you, man. All you.
I was gonna say we're gonna talk running back because everybody knows we need running back. My favorite running back on this list isn't a Dolphin running back, though. I don't think the Dolphins.
I was going to say go running back. I was literally looking at running back.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah. So I don't think Devon A-Chain is my favorite running back on this list. He's a smaller dude, 5'9", 185. I think he went to Texas A&M, 5'9", 185. And for me, his comp is Reggie Bush, bro. You're gonna have questions about him running between the tackles, but he can do everything you ask him to do. He's gonna catch. You could put him in the slot. He has hands. He has speed. He's hard to corral. He's just legit. He's a legit running back. He's just undersized. And Reggie Bush was oh well, can he run between the tackles? You know what I'm saying? Can I use him like a traditional running back? And A-Chain is going to have those same questions, but he doesn't fit the McDaniel type of running back. And some of these running backs do. Rashawn Johnson, the backup to Bijan Robinson, he's on this list. Israel. Oh, hold on. I got to get his last name right. Abani Kanda. Abani Kanda is Abani Kanda. Because if it was Abani Kanda, it would have been Abani Kanda forever, like Wakanda forever, right? So Israel Abani Kanda is more of your Mike McDaniel running back. I can see him going to the Dolphins. But there's one, we're going to end with this player here. It's the second quarterback on the list, Kadeem. And how fitting is it that we were talking about drafting or not drafting a quarterback if they made it to the 6th round? And I'm gonna go on a leap. Can we take this list off the screen, Kadeem? I need everyone to see me when I say this. There's a quarterback on this list. What if I told you, Kadeem, there's a quarterback that's 6'1", had 2 concussions, and a season-ending hip injury on this list? What would you say?
Don't you dare draft him! You're asking for people to get fired and for it to go. The Dolphins are literally at this point they're taking a mick. They are endangering.
Not only all of that, he's 6'1". The Dolphins have a quarterback that's 6'1" that had multiple concussion and a hip injury, and he's 210 pounds. And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna come out very bad. It's gonna come out real bad because there's no other way to say this. And it's gonna be funny, but I'm gonna still say it. I watched Jaren Hall's film before I go to sleep, bro. Like when I'm watching film, like I know Touché's 24 episode is coming up. This is the last guy I watch all the time because it's so fun to watch. Jaren Hall is a quarterback from BYU. And do you know any other quarterbacks that came out of BYU recently, Kadeem?
Yes. What colors do they wear?
Green and white.
Oh, is it not Jordan Love?
Zach Wilson.
Oh, snap, yeah.
Zach Wilson was the quarterback for BYU, and Jaren Hall was his backup. And the Jets picked the wrong quarterback. They should have waited on Jaren Hall. Listen, I'm going to say this with all the conviction in the world. Jaren Hall is going to be the first quarterback that I get right on Touché's 24 list. Jaren Hall is the great value version of Kyler Murray. You don't know what great value means because you don't have Walmart out there like that. But Walmart has a great value brand. You ever had the knockoff brand of certain cereals, Kadeem?
Yeah, of course.
Right. And sometimes the knockoff brand is better than the regular brand, right? That's what Jaren Hall is, bro. Jaren Hall is 6'1", 210, RPO specialist, make plays out of the pocket, tuck the ball and go. Yo, you can't catch me. He looks like Kyler Murray, bro. But he played in BYU. Born and raised in Utah, by the way. I don't know who looks like Jaren Hall and is born and raised in Utah, but he is. And I'm going on the record saying Jaren Hall is going to be a starter in the NFL one day. A starter in the NFL. And I cannot wait to come back to this film and say, told you so.
Sorry, what colors do BYU play in?
Blue and white.
You said green and white before, didn't you?
No. I thought you meant the pro team though.
No.
The pro team. The pro team is the Jets though.
No. So that's why I was like,
I see why you say Jordan Love though. I seen why you say now that we because all right, I see what you're saying. No, but I thought you meant the pro team that the player went to. So yeah, man, Jaren Hall. So I was watching Touché 24 of 2022, Kadeem, the episode that we had, and there's a take on there where I say Marcus Jones is my favorite player on the list, and he's gonna go in the third round, and then I'm gonna look back on this film and say, how did you guys let this man go in the third round? Turns out Marcus Jones went in the third round, and he made the All-Pro team and was on the All-Rookie team. Crazy. Here we are with Jaren Hall. He's gonna get drafted by a team, and he's gonna end up being a starter in the NFL. And I cannot wait to say I knew it.
So you are the Dolphins GM, and it's a 6th round, and Jaren Hall is there. Do you take him?
What round?
6th round.
I am the Dolphins GM, and I'm looking around the room with a smile on my face, and I'm picking up the phone, and I'm saying, "Hey, Jaren, how you doing? This is Charlie Touché. We want to make you a Dolphin." Bro, I am drafting a quarterback in the 6th round, bro. He's not going to be there. He should probably go anywhere from the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Jaren Hall should probably go. He's not going to be in the 6th round. And if for some reason he doesn't make it or he does make it to the 6th and he's there for us to take, bro, why would you not take a surefire backup quarterback for your team? I don't understand why not. And then we could switch it up too. Because for me, my vision for Jaren Hall would be to switch it up. Like now we're gonna run options and speed options and quarterback sweeps and all that fun stuff. It's a change of pace. If Tua went down and you have these speedy receivers in Waddle and Hill and running backs, and then you have this Jaren Hall, imagine something like Kyler Murray being the backup for the Dolphins, where you could run him around and move him around all the time, bro. I would love it. And I ain't gonna lie, Sherrod Steve hit my phone too and tried to get on me for taking a quarterback in the 6th round. But Jaren Hall is my favorite player on this list, Touché 24, and I hope he proves me right the same way Marcus Jones proves me right. Went to the was an All-Pro and rookie team, all-rookie team. So Jaren Hall, I'm rocking with you here on Go Time Dolphins.
We have a quarterback rankings episode coming out after the draft. Sherrod Steve will be on that episode. It will not be the place to have the discussion, but we need to have another episode after the draft and basically be, should the Dolphins have taken a quarterback in the later rounds? Even like whether they do or don't do it, that will be the conversation. And we're going to get Charlie Wilson back on, and it's going to be a tag team. We're going to put the belts on the line. Kadeem Simmons and Sherrod Steve be the Charlie Bros. Whatever you guys want to call yourself, I don't care. We will have that discussion. And you know what? We can even get an early episode of that this Friday. Pick either live, me and Charlie, GMs for the Miami Dolphins, either the the Go Time Dolphins mock draft or the Cover One mock draft, whatever mock draft is going to be. There's going to be a debate in the 6th and 7th round. Do we take a quarterback? Who knows? Come along and find out.
Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touché. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting
already. I got to do this, Kadeem. One more honorable mention. Well, maybe a couple more honorable. Now, I'm not going to go long on them. But City Sal, you see him down there at the bottom?
Yep.
City Sal is a tackle from Eastern Michigan, small school. Probably projects as a guard in the NFL. He had 1,900 dropbacks, passing dropbacks in his career. 1,900. Only gave up 9 sacks. And he's probably going to go undrafted or late round pick. Like, he's definitely a day 3 pick. And that's why he made my list. Like, bro, I could rock with you any day if you drop back 1,900 times and only give up 9 tackles or 9 sacks. So, yeah, City Sal is someone to look out for. And I want to say Braden Dalton. Let me check my list. Braden Dalton is not on the list, but he barely missed the list. And Brady, make sure his name is Dalton. Brady Daniels. Brady Daniels, another swing lineman, utility lineman from Utah, which was Isaac Asiata, that ended up on the Dolphins. That I could see Braden Daniels ended up on the Dolphins too, being a swing offensive utility lineman for the Dolphins too. But yeah, man, y'all got the cheat sheet. Draft is coming up next week. Look out for these players.
We will share these images across our socials, not just the current Touché 24, but the previous Touché 24. I think with this Touché 24, we should keep a track, like an early track of where these guys go. So, download it, print it out during the draft, see where these guys go. Because, like you said, Charlie has put some rounds on some of these players. So you can hit up in the comments, hey, Charlie, you said this guy's going in the 3rd round. He went undrafted. Receipt. There's been some NFL stuff, some rumors. Not a rumor. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, got the bag. He got the bag. He got the bag.
Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag.
So shout out to Jalen Hurts, the quarterback who started the national championship game, got benched for Tua. Tua took his job. Tua got drafted in the 1st round. Hurts got drafted in the 2nd round. But Hurts, got that back. Shout out to that. But Dolphins wise, there's an unfounded and unsourced rumor, put it that way, that the Dolphins might look to send Cedric Wilson to the Vikings and bring back Dalvin Cook in the process. Shout out to Big O from the Big O Show. He said the Dolphins should not trade for Dalvin Cook, but if he becomes available because they cut him, they should pick him up. So I'll ask you, should the Dolphins trade for Dalvin Cook or should they wait it out, see if the Vikings cut him? Where do you stand a week before the draft on Dalvin Cook to Miami?
I think Cedric Wilson goes back to the Cowboys. I think he gets traded to the Cowboys for a 5th round. And I would live with that. I would love it too. Like, all right, we got something from him. And then that's an extra 5th round pick. And maybe you can get Jaren Hall to back up your quarterback. But as far as Dalvin Cook goes, I can see how they need receivers in Minnesota. There's no Thielen anymore. It's just Justin Jefferson. I think Osborne is over there. They need receiver depth. If I'm Minnesota, I'm probably looking at 1st round like, yo, where's Zay Flowers going? You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. I think they picked 25th, 23rd. So you never know who you can get back there, as opposed to spending a pick on, well, not even a pick, just, yeah, I guess getting Cedric Wilson, trading away Dalvin Cook. Here's my thing on Dalvin Cook. I don't have any desire to trade for Dalvin Cook. The money is too much. $14 million, $15 million. That's a lot of money. Obviously, if he gets cut, cool. $10 million. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. It's probably be less than $10 million. You could probably get Dalvin Cook for $8 million a year if he gets cut. But if it crept up to $10 million, you still save $5 million. That's a whole player. That if you look at Allen Robinson getting traded to the Steelers today,
Yep.
The Rams are paying $10 million of his salary, and the Steelers are only paying $5 million. So every dollar counts when you're in your Super Bowl window. I cannot pay Dalvin Cook $14 or $15 million. If the Dolphins trade for Dalvin Cook and acquire him via trade and keep that contract, it is only because Stephen Ross said so. That is it. No GM in their right mind would bring in Dalvin Cook on that contract unless they were usurped by their owner. You like that word?
Yeah, I always think of it from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, they said what when they said it in Game of Thrones.
I feel like a bunch of like people just getting usurped for the phone and stuff like that. So
for sure, like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I enjoyed Touché 24. It was a good one. It's so by the time you're watching this, it's probably like early morning in the US, probably early evening in the UK. It's currently 20-1 in the UK right now as we record this. I'm going to go to sleep watching Jaren Hall tape. I kind of feel like that's the GTD thing to do. And I can guarantee, I don't care how mind-blowing this quarterback is, I am not drafting him in the 6th or 7th round to be a Miami Dolphin. I am not doing it. The only way I do it is if on draft night, a team gives me a 6th or 7th round pick for Skylar Thompson. I'm like, you know what? I need a quarterback. Then cool, fair enough. And your face says it all because no team is going to do that. That's what I'm saying.